What popular saying is actually bullshit? The customer is always right. Because half of it's missing. The full truism is the customer is always right in matters of taste. Guy wants a pint of half Baileys. Half orange juice? He's paying. Lady wants to wear a raw turkey as a hat. You do you love. What it doesn't mean is that Kyle and Karen get free rein to treat people like shitty because they happen to be handing over money at some stage of the interaction. If you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. This is like toxic relationship starter pack stuff. If it was used in a different context, it'd be fine. Like, if people meant it to mean, oh, if you can't handle me when I'm stressed out because I'm broke. The cancer came back. The dog died. And the toilet's so badly blocked we need a plumber for the 3rd time this month. You probably don't deserve me when things are going well. It'd be fine. Instead, people seem to just say it to mean, I'm an asshole for no reason because I never got over my 14-year-old edgelord phase. What doesn't kill you just makes you stronger. Bull. 2x cancer survivor here. It sure didn't make me any stronger. Edit. Y'all. Thanks for all the good feels. Yows guys is awesome man. And the thing is, this shit is mostly applied to heartbreaks and the like. Those sure as hell don't usually make you stronger. They just FCK you up in weird and interesting ways. Trust issues. Anxiety. Overthinking. Emotional unavailability. Fear of sex. Using sex as a coping mechanism. The list is f-king endless. It's just utter bullshit. There's plenty of fish in the sea. You know what else there's plenty of in the sea? Trash. You don't need money to be happy. Usually this quote is being used by those who are already filthy rich. You don't need money to be happy, but you do need shelter, warmth, food and water to be happy, and those things cost a f-king fortune right now. Life is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're gonna get. Every box of chocolate I have seen has a little book that tells you what you'll get. As it was Forrest Gump who said it. And him being a little slower, mentally, than average. We get to see it from his perspective. Maybe he didn't know the chocolate box actually had a table of contents. Or maybe his mother told him that quote once when he was a kid and it just stuck with him. Like, he haven't even thought of actually reading on the box. As he already knows the boxes and sides are different every time because my mom said so, no need to fact check it. It's what he believes. That's what makes it such a wonderful quote. We get to see what the world looks like through his eyes. Close bracket. Be yourself. If you're a f-king asshole and even the nice people hate you, then you should f-king change and not be yourself. I completely relate to this. My actual personality is almost completely misanthropic. I would love to be able to survive on my own, never interacting with anyone again. In reality, you can't go through life like that unless you want to live as a hermit in a cave somewhere. And I'm too lazy for that. A watched pot never boils. Double quote. It does. I've checked. If you love something, set it free. I know if you love something, smother it with affection until you catch the early flight home and catch a couple naked dudes tag teaming your fiance. I thought you were quoting old school at first. But if that happened to you, I'm so sorry. Dude. What you don't know can't hurt you. While yes, it's technically true, it's also not a positive thing. Theoretically, if someone's partner was cheating on them, yes, they don't know so they can't be hurt, but it's still a bad thing. I was thinking more of, I don't know, there is a train coming right behind me and that is definitely gonna hurt. Everything is fair in love, war and game. Underscore. I came to say this. People who use this are just excusing their abhorrent, selfish, malicious, illegal actions by implying that everyone is somehow on equal footing in some sort of no-holds-barred blood sport of life. Also, the end justifies the means, really. Adolf? That's how you're going to reduce unemployment and make the country great again? Well, FCK that. I'm just being honest. No, Jennifer. You're just being a douche canoe and saying what you want expecting there will be no repercussions because you tell it like it is, and if you don't like it then leave. There's this idea some people have that being sympathetic or thoughtful in your choice of words is a sign of weakness. No. It's a sign of being a decent person to choose your words in a way that doesn't hurt or upset someone unnecessarily. There's a reason that when my girlfriend gained some weight I tactfully suggested we start exercising together and didn't just say damn you fatter hell as I clapped my hands and made walrus noises. Edit. Been playing too much Phasmophobia. Sticks and stones may break my bones but words will never hurt me. It's okay if you are saying it to yourself to help yourself feel more resilient. But not to say to another person to tell them to get over something hurtful. You can achieve anything you set your mind to. Always annoying to hear successful famous people say that if you believe in yourself and try hard enough you will succeed. Well, yes, you succeeded. But for you there are thousands of others that work just as hard and believe just as much in themselves but didn't make it. Using the phrase, "It's just a few bad apples," to protect an institution when the full proverb says, "A few bad apples spoils the bunch." Double quote. Yes. The saying means that if you find a few bad apples, you need to throw out the whole barrel. None of the rest are untainted. Why do people say that? Then try to make a case to keep the rest of the apples? Whatever happens, happens for a reason, or everything does happen for a reason. Just might not be beneficial to you at all. Like rain happens because of high humidity and low atmospheric pressure, coupled with upper atmospheric cooling. A car accident might happen because someone wasn't paying attention. Effects have causes. So everything happens for a reason. Happiness is a choice. That's maybe sometimes a little true. But depression is real. And it's not what anyone chose. TBF. I don't think happiness is the opposite of depression. Or that depression is the opposite of happiness. Depression is a symptom or an illness in and of itself. Maybe STH like sadness is more apt. Do what makes you happy in regards to searching for a career. I think it is mostly Americans that translate this saying to be about career. I think it is more about life. We spend a lot of time doing what is necessary. So it is imperative to make sure we do what makes us happy. When someone tells a depressed person just exercise and drink water. Mother FCK. I barely have enough motivation to breathe. What makes you think I'm gonna get up to exercise? Let's add on to that eating healthy and taking your vitamins and living in a clean environment. My mom would say that to me so much that I started quoting the entire list back to her when she'd get like she was going to say it, and she finally got so annoyed she stopped. Don't worry about it. Double quote. Coworkers say this when other coworkers start stonewalling you, death staring you, and becoming visibly uncomfortable in your presence. Depends a lot on how shitty your coworkers were at the start. But if all your coworkers start stonewalling and death staring you, maybe you should do some self-examination. Did you advocate for eating puppies for breakfast or something? It's all a God's plan. Well, if it is, it's a shitty ass plan, and I don't see how me chronically suffering can be good in any way. Yes. God's plan was for an 8-year-old boy to be hit by a drunk driver so he could spend the rest of his natural life in a wheelchair. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. It's not. I prefer the version if you do what you've always done, you get what you've always got. Let's not bring mental health into it. Money can't buy happiness. FCK off. I always rephrase it this way. Money can't buy happiness, but it sure as hell can buy comfort. It's better to ask forgiveness than permission. Yeah, eventually people are just gonna stop forgiving you. I used to use this one when I lied to my parents about doing things I wasn't supposed to do, like going out and such. But yeah, it's stupid. It kinda makes you like the boy who cried wolf, but different. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Double quote. A lot of neat people are far from being godly. It's always darkest before the dawn. No. It's darkest in the middle of the night. It gets gradually lighter before the dawn. And if you're talking metaphorically, it still doesn't work. Hard times often improve gradually. Stupid bloody saying. Karma is a bitch. It's not. It's not even real. People need to see bad people winning every once in a while to realize that it's not a real thing. I read books about horrible F-king mafia dudes who killed tons of innocent victims that died of very old age in a mansion surrounded by their loving family. I was 12 when I read that and knew that there is no such thing as karma. Oh. They're all just as bad, referring to politicians. I'm sure it has a proper name, but I've always called it the paradox of power. The people who want to rule over others are exactly the ones we don't want ruling us. Because they rule only for their own benefit. The people who don't want to rule over others are exactly the ones we want leading us. Because they'll be less likely to be self-serving. Those who go into politics and thus get into power are almost always of the first category. Because the second category would rather stay at home and live their own life. 3 that I absolutely hate. God never gives us more than we can handle. Everything happens for a reason and God has a plan for us all. They make me so angry. Just bullshit. Practice makes perfect. And X200B. No, it doesn't. Practice makes permanence. If you start off doing something wrong and do it over and over and over, you'll get great at doing it wrong. Sleep is for the weak, or I'll sleep when I die. Well, actually, not sleeping is making you weaker and decreasing your lifespan as you gloat about it right now. Sleep is essential, people. Tell that to people at my F-king job. We do 12s and some people do 16s regularly and they wear it like a F-king badge of honor. Toxic ass work culture. Always face your fears. Lol. No, if your fear is getting mugged or raped, you shouldn't go down a dark alleyway at night to face your fears. I do get that the quote is meant for stuff more like fear of heights or flying, but it's bullshit for everything except for a handful of fears. Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg are college dropouts. Dude, they went to Harvard, not community college. Looks don't matter. 98% of cases it does. If it didn't, there would be no love at first sight. You can also see difference in followers of social media. There is no love at first sight. It's lust at first sight, which can feel just as overpowering as love can. To love someone, you need to know who they are on the inside. Their soul, their loves, their passion, their humor, as well as their beauty, and many other things. Can never know all that on first sight. Edit. Except for dogs. You can absolutely love a dog at first sight. The early bird gets the worm. No. Sleep cycles differ. There's quite a lot of research about that. Morning persons are not automatically more productive. Blood is thicker than water. Technically it is a full quote, which is the blood of battle is thicker than the water of the womb. Which is the reverse message of what's being preached. Don't judge a book by its cover. In a literal sense. A book's cover is literally there for you to judge. Live each day like it's your last. That would imply fight to be the first in line. You don't need patient. Take what you can. No planning ahead. About you. You can't love someone else if you don't love yourself. People gain self-love through the love and care shown towards the people they love. Such a surface level thought. It's the least I could do. Double quote. Doing something is never the least you can do. You can always do less than something. Well, if you're saying it's the least you can do, you never mean it literally. It's always used to be polite. Returning a favor. It's the least I could do for you after you. Double quote. Hard work pays off. In my experience it does. Unfortunately, the pay for hard work is always just more work. An apple a day keeps the doctor away. It might keep the doctor away, but the psych ward never has enough apples to keep 5 big orderlies and a nurse with a needle away. A pen is mightier than a sword. Try bringing a pen to a sword fight. Well, try bringing a sword to a pen fight and see how you fare. HHHMMM. On a more serious note, I actually like this one cause it's like communicating with people is usually better than fighting. And more literally. In war, one of the greatest weapons will always be info intel comms. Reading this thread, I'm finding that pretty much every motivational quote is bullshit. Listen to Yahweh to love. Reddit has a habit of echoing all of the most depressing perspectives possible in any given situation. They revel in misery. It's not a true picture of how things are in real life. Manifest what you want. If this worked, I'd be a billionaire with the love of my life by my side. I don't have either. Life's not fair. Double quote. Not because it isn't true, but because whoever says that to you is right in the middle of f-king you over somehow. And numbers never lie. Double quote. The hell you say? Numbers never don't lie. We get a constant stream of bullshit. Incomplete. Weighted. Agendized. Cherry-picked numbers all day long. Data doesn't lie. But numbers are full of shit. Remember what Mark Twain taught us about the types of lies in the world. There are 3 kinds of lies. Lies. Damned lies. And statistics. Double quote. Money doesn't buy you happiness. Yo FCK with that saying. It's a phrase used by rich folk to keep poor people poor. Money buys you freedom. Imagine never having financial stress. Saving and investing 25% of your take home so that when you are 45-50, you can retire as a multi-millionaire. When you lost something, it's always in the last place you look. No shit, Sherlock. I'm not going to keep looking once I found it. Looks don't matter. Double quote. They do. Not always. Not completely. But they very much do matter. Humans are kind of superficial in that regard. Violence doesn't solve anything. On the contrary, you can solve every single problem with violence. Sometimes you just need a lot of it. Opposites attract. They don't. Birds of a feather flock together. On the other hand, is usually true for relationships. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Not only is this saying aimed at the poor, uneducated, disabled, mentally infirmed, and socially oppressed, it's a literal physical impossibility. That's not how gravity works. Bro. Go big or go home. I have severe anxiety and don't particularly like socializing outside my comfort zone. Believe me, if I have to go big or go home, I'm going home with an immense weight lifted off my shoulders. In Germany there is a saying, Die Ausnahme bestätigt die Regel, the exception confirms the rule. Which is obviously totally flawed. People use it whenever they say X applies. But why is the actual outcome? I think it originated in a form of irony and fun way to say that they were wrong. But nowadays people legit use it to say they're right, and the result was just a rare case. It's been around so long that people don't question it anymore. If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough. Double quote. Some things are just inherently complex. This saying makes the layman believe they can understand anything from a simplified explanation. And if they didn't, it's not that they don't have enough background knowledge, but it's because the explainer doesn't understand it. Just follow your heart. Double quote. Bullcrap. Your heart's dumb, fickle, and doesn't know what it wants. Follow your head. That thing is smarter and usually makes more sound decisions. Only when you lose something will you be able to appreciate how valuable something is. Asterisk. Nah. You can appreciate good health, a stable job, or wholesome neighbors without losing them first. The phrase just a couple bad apples. Cause the whole phrase is supposed to be just a couple bad apples spoil the whole bunch. Apostrophe. Follow your dreams. Nah. Hollywood is probably full of would-be superstars turned minimum wage earners who never made the 1/10,000 chance of achieving the dream they followed. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Double quote. Nah mate. It just gives you trauma. One bad apple, meaning you can discount the bad apple because it's not representative of the entire group, is the opposite of the original saying, which was a rotten apple quickly infects its neighbor, or as one bad apple spoils the others. So you must show no quarter to sin or sinners, which means you have to be careful about a bit of wrongdoing in an organization, or it could have this overall corrupting effect on an entire system. This is based on science, as apples and other fruits emit a ripening agent. Perception is reality. What one perceives is not always what's going on. Don't let paradigms rule your assumptions of anything or anyone. Remember, assuming makes an ass out of you and me. What goes around comes around. Apostrophe. I've seen so many good, honest people get screwed over by toxic, immoral people who never get their comeuppance. The concept of karma is bullshit. What goes around comes around. Double quote. In books and movies, the villains always gets what they deserve in the end. And while we occasionally see that happen in real life, the truth is that money and power and the right connections allow far too many shitfields to live their entire lives as terrible people with absolutely no consequences. Curiosity killed the cat. Ignorance is bliss. What they don't know doesn't hurt them. I swear that aphorisms are often just excuses people use to be shitty and ignorant proudly. If you can't love me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. A bullshit line used by a lot of insecure people to test their significant other. Saying something is all but, when you mean to say that is said thing. Like if you find an empty box and you say it's all but empty. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Double quote. I know exactly what I am getting in my tin of quality streets. I saw my life flash before my eyes. I got into a really bad car accident a few years ago and it happened so fast. I didn't even have time to think of what had just happened. A heart is judged not by how much you love, but by how much you are loved by others. The Wizard of Oz. If you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. Double quote. Which is crap. It just turns the thing you love into work, and means everything in your life is work. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Bullshit. That's like breaking someone's legs with a baseball bat and telling them to walk it off. Apostrophe. The problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money. Double quote. It's your own tax payments, and those from others, bundled together for the common good. You can't love someone until you learn to love yourself. Fuck you, Karen. My husband loves and appreciates me more than I ever will, and I'm grateful every day for that. Work smarter, not harder. While it is sometimes true that a more efficient solution exists, a lot of the time you just need to knuckle down and get on with the task at hand rather than waste time searching for an easy way out that probably doesn't exist. It's usually used as an excuse to procrastinate or cheat your way out of a task or situation in my experience. But like I said, it does sometimes apply. Blood is thicker than water. The actual saying is the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb, which means the exact opposite as the quote now used. What doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. Such bullshit. Tell that to people's lung capacity after COVID. Or generally almost anything really. Broken leg? It's not going to heal better than it was. Cancer? Yeah, I hear it's all the rage with athletes just for the recovery benefits. Practice makes perfect. Double quote. I had a teacher that used to point out that no. Practice makes permanent. If you practice something in an incorrect way, you're going to perform incorrectly. Good things come to those who wait. 9 times out of 10 you need to make those good things happen. They very rarely just drop on your doorstep. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's a newish, cultish thing to say, and it's always said by management. Yes, a bunch of Amish building a barn proves it to sometimes be factual. But have you ever had to do a group project in school? Wait on work colleague to get you the stats they promised you weeks ago? In the end, the whole saying makes me cringe. Lesser of two evils. If there was an election between Hitler and Stalin tomorrow, then voting for either is just digging your own grave. Stalin might be better than Hitler, but he's still a murderous dictator. Corporations, not individuals, are mostly responsible for climate change. Double quote. We have to stop buying all their trash if we want them to change. We are feeding the beasts. Throws plastic Coke bottle into river out of frustration. Respect isn't given. It's earned. Sounds like a way to justify being a jerk to every stranger they meet to me. Especially when phrases like treat the janitor just like you'd treat the CEO makes that sentiment totally obsolete. Treating everyone you meet with dignity takes priority. I can't stand how people use "it is what it is" as a reason to not try to improve a situation. It is what it is now because you don't want to put forth any effort. God always has a plan. Bullshit. There is no God in the first place. Boys will be boys. That one is usually said for people trying to make excuses for bad behavior. A ship at port is safe from storms. But that's not what ships were built for. No. You didn't Humpty Dumpty of a f***ing idiot human. It's what ports were built for. So that the expensive ships would have shelter from storms. Taking your ship out in a storm isn't courageous. It's just f***ing stupid. Do you think ships were built to sink? Losing cargo and crew? Is that what ships were built for in your rock hard f***ing skull? You work for an insurance company. Tanya. Why are you advocating irresponsible maritime behavior? Surely you know better. Fuck that stupid f***ing motivational saying bullshit. Everything happens for a reason. Oh, no. Bernadette. Sometimes shit just happens for no reason at all. Maybe if you stopped being a hypocritical, privileged bitch, you'd notice how people have been suffering and dying for as long as we live in circumstances they don't deserve. Stop using God as an excuse for how you've weaseled your way out of things. Like how your family paid our Catholic high school so you can graduate valedictorian when you didn't have the grades for it. Or when you cheated but excused for it because the school is in your pocket with your family's yearly donations whilst all the other students got suspended and excluded from graduating with honors. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Comma as a musician. No. That's practice and persistence. Which are the two things you need the most to succeed? Just pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Double quote. The saying to pull oneself up by one's bootstraps was already in use during the 19th century as an example of an impossible task. Today it gets used like people who aren't doing this impossible task are lazy and unmotivated. If you tell the truth, you'll get in less trouble. If you have something you shouldn't, turn it into the school administration and you won't get in trouble. Bully free zone. As long as you go to college you'll be successful. Everything happens for a reason. Double quote. I strongly disagree with this statement. Things just happen and too many terrible things happen in this world for any of them to have happened for a reason. I can't imagine how someone would think saying this would ever make a situation better. Money doesn't grow on trees. People that say this haven't looked at the price of timber or well-made wooden products. I mean, yes, cash itself doesn't grow on trees, but you can certainly turn wood into money. It doesn't matter who started it. Double quote. Of course it f***ing does. Even legally the concept of who did what first is recognized as vital. Boys will be boys. There's no excuse for cruelty to others. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt me. This completely ignores how bullying with words can cause mental health issues. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. While it is a paraphrased Einstein quote, it is not the definition of insanity. IDK always bugs me hearing it. Luck of the Irish. Irish people aren't really that lucky. In fact, they caught the bad end of things throughout history. So lucky is an ironic statement and mostly refers to their bad luck. Healthy as a horse. Lies. They're delicate flowers that will keel over and die from just about everything from a small boo-boo to indigestion. You can do all the hard things. No. You can't. And furthermore, making things more difficult for everyone so you can tell people they can do all the hard things is narcissistic. You can't always get what you want. Double quote. Actually, we can never get what we want as long as we continue to desire it. The very act of desiring that which we don't have means that we don't have it. The desire must end first. You can do anything if you just put your mind to it. Double quote. Yeah. No. We all have different strengths and weaknesses. Mental and physical ability are barriers and qualifiers that can't always be circumvented with hard work and moxie. My mini plans. Crushed by epilepsy. Sometimes you're a square and you gotta find a square hole. Crising type A.